Yeah. Now, this is Boy D47 on the grind AM PM handling that business, popping off all day for real, revisiting as much rugby league information as possible. Right now, out here for real, 1973 wooden spoon in Australian Rugby League going to Penrith Panthers. And so you don't miss any essential rugby league information, watching this video all the way through to the end as per always. Now, this one, a particularly horrible one. We do a most embarrassing moment for every wooden spooner from when Australian Rugby League began in the year 1908. We've done an embarrassing moment every year, all the way up to 1973. This one, Penrith's most embarrassing moment in round 19, 1973. So far, I think the most embarrassing moment out of all of them, and we have got a long way to go. We've still got 51 more wooden spoons to cover, 1973 up to today, 2024. Still got 51 more spoons left, but it's definitely going to be hard pressed to find a more embarrassing moment than Penrith's in 1973. So let's get straight into it. Before we get straight into it, actually, it was nearly an exact switcheroo of the 1972 wooden spoon. And if you want to watch the 1972 wooden spoon that went to Parramatta Eels, you can watch it on this channel as well. Scroll through this wooden spoon playlist to find that one. In 1972, Parramatta had got the wooden spoon, getting only 10 competition points, whereas Penrith had finished second last with 11 competition points. The next year, 1973, nearly a switcheroo. Penrith finishing last with 10 competition points, Parramatta second last with 12 competition points. Nearly the exact opposite sort of thing. But, unfortunately, it was Penrith's turn for it, and they had the 22 games, just 5 wins and 17 losses for these 10 competition points. They scored 272 points in attack, but their defence was the killer. They conceded nearly double as many points, nearly twice as many points as they scored. They conceded 525 points in defence, and that's why they got the spoon. You don't have very much chance at all of avoiding the spoon when you're conceding over 500 points from 22 games. For and against, that's minus 253 for and against. So they scored 272 points, but the for and against was minus 253. So they nearly conceded twice as much as they scored, which is absolutely alarming and disturbing, to be brutally honest. So, like I said, with that said, you wouldn't expect the top try and point scorers to have done very much. The fact that they only scored 272 points for the season, but the only players who did something for them, the top try scorer, his name was Ron Lynch, and he picked up 7 tries for them. So something at least, like a little something at least, more than 5 or 6. Well, did get 7 tries. And the top point scorers, at least we had 3 players, all get over 30 points. So it's not much. Well, it's not much, but at least 3 players did get something. So, 3 players. First of all, Norm Gilligan, he got 3 tries and 11 goals for them. And that is a total of 31 points. Remembering tries used to be 3 points at the time. There was a player called Reg Walden, who got no tries, 18 goals, 36 points for them. And there was a player called Bruce Ward, who got 1 try and 18 goals, a total of 39 points for them. So, probably would have been better if one of the 3 had obviously kicked all the goals and got like 75 or 80 or 85 points. Would have been a bit better, but at least, or 90 points or something like that, at least 3 of them got over 30 points. At least they did something there. But that was where the joy ended. The only 5 games Penrith did win in 1973, few and far between, sandwiched in between a lot of heavy losses. A lot of games Penrith conceded over 30 or 40 points in defence, which obviously adds up to the horrendous 525 points altogether. In round 1, the only games Penrith won, in round 1, 1973, they beat Eastern Suburbs 20 points to 9. In round 4, they'd beaten Balmain 31-8. In round 10, they'd beaten Canterbury 16-11. And then the moment in the sun arrived in round 17 and 18, and they actually won back-to-back games, believe it or not. In round 17, they'd beaten North 21-20. In round 18, they'd beaten Parramatta 29-15. So with those 5 wins after the first 18 games, they did still have a chance of avoiding the wooden spoon. Like maybe leapfrogging Parramatta and avoiding the wooden spoon, just like they did in 1972. But not only did they lose the last 4 games to end up with the spoon, the round 19 game is the most embarrassing moment. They had to play Manly. They'd already played Manly back in round 8 and lost that one 41 points to 5 at Brookvale. So they had to play Manly again in round 19, 1973. This one was at Penrith Park in front of their appalled and disgusted home fans. Appalled and disgusted home fans, I must say. And even though Manly were the best team all through 1973, and Manly ended up beating Cronulla 10 points to 7 in the 1973 grand final, one of the most brutal and classic grand finals of them all, even though it was the Premier's Manly going up against the wooden spooners, still, the scoreline here, 1973 round 19, believe it or not, Manly 70, Penrith 7. Manly put 14 tries on them at Penrith Park in front of their home fans. 14 3-point tries, all converted, make 70 points. And if tries were 4 points back then, it actually would have been 84 points to 8. It's the equivalent of losing to Manly 84 points to 8. It's the equivalent of 76-point losing margin if tries were 4 points back then, how they are today. So with these 14 converted tries, Manly's legendary goal kicker and fullback Graham Eady, he landed 14 goals from 14 attempts. Those 14 goals is the second most goals in a game by any player ever in the history of Australian Rugby League. The only time a player got more was the legendary Eastern Suburbs player Dave Brown, who picked up 15 goals in the one game back in 1935 when East beaten Canterbury 87 points to 7, all the way back then. So these 14 goals by Graham Eady here in 1973, second most goals in a game by any player ever. So I think that's the most embarrassing moment so far. If you can scroll all the way through this wooden spoon playlist, you'll see that in 1920s and 1930s, there was a team called University who picked up 10 wooden spoons during that time. And I would have said in a lot of their games that they conceded 50 and 60 points, but I'm pretty sure not even University conceded 70 points in the one game with 3-point tries. I think not even University, who were one of the worst teams ever conceded 70 points. So Penrith, 1973 round 19, believe it or not, lost to Manly 70 points to 7 with 3 14-point tries, all converted by Graham Eady. With 4-point tries, it would have been 84 points to 8. So easily the most embarrassing moment so far, and we'll be hard pressed to find one that's more embarrassing. We could. We've still got 51 wooden spoons left, and we could, but probably not. So there you go. Penrith's horrendous 1973 wooden spoon done and dusted and out of the way. And I know how awesome Penrith are these days, if you're watching these days. And if you're new to the game, you'll see that Penrith have won the last 3 premierships. Well, they actually entered the comp back in 1967, and it took 18 years. It took until 1985 just for Penrith to make the finals for the first time. 1967 up to 1984, most of the time was spent near the foot of the ladder, unfortunately, until they finally got it together in the mid-80s. But there you go, Penrith's 1973 wooden spoon with the most embarrassing moment popped off. AM/PM, so obviously 1974 wooden spoon going to Balmain, and 1975 wooden spoon going to South Sydney coming up soon. Hopefully in a few days from now I'll have both of these up here so you can watch those too. And thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end as requested so you didn't miss any crucial rugby league information. And thank you so much for ongoing brutal, pulverising, malevolent, evil, sick, twisted support as per always. And you can go over to my second channel, and that's called D47's Dad Jokes, and on there there's a ton of dad joke shorts, and that's frivolous, fun and stupid. And on here, on the long form channel, Footy Stats channel, it's serious business, in this bitch, up this motherfucker, out this motherfucker for a all day. Thank you so much, D47.